Hi, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie, and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. The card that I'll be showing you today is one that I've actually made several of in the last 2 days. I was playing with the design, fell on one that I really liked, and so I just made a whole bunch of cards. I'll show you all the different versions at the very end of the video, but let's get started. Okay, as we get started here, I wanted to show you the card that was the original inspiration. This is a card that I made probably 4 or 5 years ago. The paper was a celebration paper that I obviously had at the time, and even looking through my DSP this week, I still had little pieces of this left. So this was the card that I found in a stash of cards, and I pulled the dimensions from this and started creating. And then, as I said, I made so many different designs. I was using up some designer series paper that I'm trying to work through. I was using up some cardstock, and I liked one card even more than the one before it. So it was a lot of fun. I think you're gonna find the same thing. So I am using almost entirely retired product this morning. And so you can truly follow along, or later go back and make this card with whatever you have. So I'm going to give you the dimensions and then look through the supplies that you have and just use what's there, and you will come up with a great card. I'm confident of that. So I'm starting with a cardstock base that is Blushing Bride. So that is also a color that has been retired. This is 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored and folded down the middle at 4 1/4. So there's our base. Then you're going to need a piece of colored cardstock for the front panel. This piece measures 5 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then you're going to need 3 pieces of designer series paper that work well together. So as I said, I've got some retired papers here, and I'm doing this whole card in the black, white, and pink theme, which I think is going to be really pretty. So your 3 pieces of designer series paper each measure 3 inches by 1 1/2. And I say that with a little bit of hesitancy because you can also use a piece that is only 1 1/4 inches. So maybe you're trying to use up a scrap and it's a little bit too narrow to reach the 1 1/2 inch. 1 1/4 will work also. As I got to making the variety of cards that I made, I realized I did some with each measurement. So it completely doesn't matter. So these are 3 inches by either 1 1/2 or 1 1/4 inches. All right, the first thing we're going to do is glue the designer series paper to our little panel here. So I'm going to use liquid glue. And I am going to show you a way that makes this a little bit easier to line up. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this piece on the left side of my paper, and I'm eyeballing the bottom, the left side, and the top margin around my designer series paper. Okay, so you get that first one in place. That one's the easiest. Then your second one you're going to do on the right side. We're going to skip the middle for now. And then this one you're going to do the same thing. Put your glue on, and then you're going to look at your border on the bottom, the right side, and the top, and you're just kind of eyeballing it so that it's about an equal border. All right, once you have, I'm gonna put this on a different color because it's a little bit hard to see on my black background. Okay, it was bugging my eyes out. It wasn't looking straight. Okay, there's that. And then you take your middle piece. The reason you're gonna do this one last is because all you need to really do is center it here. Even if this little measurement over here is a little bit different on the center ones, it won't matter. So just line up the bottom, equal distance between the right piece and the left piece, and check out the top and get that one in place. All right, I did get some glue right here. I'm gonna grab an adhesive remover, which we do not sell in the Stampin' Up! Catalog right now. I do have a link below this video an Amazon link if you need to get one of these erasers that removes adhesive from places that you don't want it. Okay, so that's really handy. All right, the next thing that we're going to do, this is going to go on here, but we're going to wrap our ribbon around this piece first. So I grabbed some of the glittered organdy ribbon in white. We've had this at different times in both white and black. I think the last 2 years, black was available in our fall offerings, probably because of Halloween cards. But the white one sometimes is in the holiday catalog as well because it looks good with Christmas stuff. So anyway, I have both white and black left over. These are retired, so use a ribbon that coordinates with whatever you've got going. You only need about 6 inches of ribbon. So let's cut a piece between 6 and 7, depends on how much extra you feel like you need. All right, because this is going to get wrapped around this, I'm going to secure it with some tear and tape. So I've got 2 pieces of tear and tape here. And the first thing I'm going to do is hold the ribbon right where I want it. This is about, maybe a little bit more than 1 inch from the bottom of that panel. There we go. Let me hold it this way. It'll be easier for you to see too. All right, I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to wrap the tail around the back. And I'm just going to secure it in place with my tear and tape. Like so. Okay, and then pull that tight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the other side. You've seen me do this before. And we're going to secure it in place on this side. Now I'll tell you what's super helpful is having some grid paper or a grid mat on your work surface, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down so my card is perfectly straight. I'm lining it up on the line on the grid, and then I'm putting my ribbon right at the edge. Let me move this up so you can see a little bit better. Okay, my card is straight. I'm going to put the edge of the ribbon right here at this line. Then when I pull it taut up here, I can also line it up with that line. Now I know that my ribbon is really going across perfectly straight. Do you see that? All right, so I have to pick this up though. There we go. And I'm going to hold onto it, wrap it around to the back, and secure that one in place. All right, the reason I do this is I'm able to save ribbon. I'm saving here a good 4 or 5 inches of ribbon instead of wrapping it all the way around. And once this is on the card, you'll never know that it doesn't go all the way around. So that's a little hack for saving a few inches of ribbon. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use that adhesive there, the tear and tape, to hold this panel to the card, but I'm going to also add some other adhesive. You could add your liquid glue or your stamp and seal here. I wouldn't want to rely on just those 2 little strips holding the whole panel down nice and flat. So there, I've just added some. This goes onto your card base. And with the size of the card base and the size of this panel, you won't have equal borders all the way around. Your right and left border are going to be more narrow than your top and bottom border. Do you see that? Okay, so that's in place. All right, then I need a circle. I'm going to use the same color, which, as I said, is a retired color, Blushing Bride. Let me show you the dies that I used. Hold on, I just have to grab them. Sorry about that. I thought I had this circle ready to go. I had already used it, but I did want to show you the dies anyhow. Stitch shape dies was my all-time favorite die set, probably, as far as how often it got used. And of course, it retired a little ways back. And so last year's catalog, stylish shapes were introduced, and they do have the little stitching around each of the shapes also. So you've got the banners, the circles, the squares, and they became instantly so popular that they were out of stock a lot. So now a little bit of that initial run has worn off. Mine finally arrived, and that is what I used for today's project. So this circle is for this one, okay, and this is the Blushing Bride. And then I need a white circle from here, which I also don't have. So let me grab my white circle. So since I didn't have those, and that took a little extra, that's adding time to this card, and this card really doesn't take that long. All right, so there's our two circles. On this smaller one, white one, I'm going to stamp. Now, this product is not retired. This is a newish stamp set. It's new to me. Charming Sentiments, and we're using the thank you stamp from this. I love the fonts that they chose for this, for so many of these. This is going to be a great set to provide lots of sentiments. Oh, and look, I also have the rest of those dies sitting here so you can see the whole set. Okay, so I did not use the smallest or the second smallest for this card. I used the third and the fourth. All right, so black ink and my thank you. I'm going to put my circle on my Stampin' Pierce mat just to give it that little extra cushion. And now often I will stamp first and then die cut. Sometimes just to make the filming of a video go faster, I will do these steps this way, so it's faster to just already have that circle, even though I didn't have it. Okay, your stamped sentiment circle is going to go onto your cardstock circle. Like so. And we're going to attach that to the card with a couple of dimensionals. So I like to use 3 when the shape of your die cut is rather large, like this circle is. So I'm going to just put 3 on here. All right, peeling the backing off and then attaching the circle. This is going to go right here, so over the papers, slightly over your ribbon, like so. All right, now I want to add either a bow or a knot right here. So back to my ribbon. Now, if I had wrapped the ribbon from the back to the front and tied a bow, I feel like it gets really thick and it can be awkward. So this is going to look like my bow is part of that ribbon, but as you can see, it was done separately. So I'm just going to tie a bow, and then we're going to attach it with a glue dot. This ribbon is a little bit wider than some of the ones I chose on the cards. I am going to show you all the cards at the end of this video. You may have already seen them if you saw my reel on Instagram. You saw all of the other cards. So this ribbon is, well, I would call it 1/2 inch, even though it's not quite measuring a 1/2 inch. I really like 1/4 inch or even 3/8. But this is going to work. And as I said, I want you to use what you have. So, okay, so we'll apply a glue dot to the back of the bow and then simply add it to the card. And it gives the illusion that I wrapped the ribbon around the card and tied it in a bow. So that's the look that we're going for. All right, then we need some embellishments. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to use black rhinestones, which I like. Black rhinestones are not in the catalog right now. Again, sometimes these types of black products, the ribbon, the rhinestones, come out for Halloween projects. But this was definitely a contender. I also like our iridescent rhinestone gems, which are currently available. Let's use these. I like how they're picking up the pink. All right, so I would say either 3 or 4. If I was going to do only 3, I would do a triangle here, here, and here. But if this looks a little bit too bare for you and you want to add a gem here, then that's totally an option. So I'm going to use kind of a medium-sized one here on my white circle. I like it. And then I'm going to still add the 3. And I'll use a small one, a medium one, and even one of these large gems. I'm going to put the largest one at the bottom. Maybe it'll kind of weight the card correctly. I don't know that it would look good if it was up here. All right, the last thing that this needs, which I'm not going to take the time to do, is just a white panel on the inside. That's how I would finish this card. But let me go ahead. I'm really happy with the pink, white, and black. Let me go ahead and show you the other cards as I promised. So there's a bunch of them. Let's set that one here. And you can see these are retired papers, retired ribbons. I was just working through all kinds of products that I had left on hand. Here's that paper again. Here's just a black and white one. That's actually one of my very favorites. I'm loving this one too. Okay, you can see, just change your cardstock color, change your papers, add your ribbon and your embellishments accordingly. This is going to start to slide. Let's move those over. All right, and I feel like I'm not even done. I want to make some more of this design because I'm really liking it that much. So there's our card for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you get a notification every time I put up a new video here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put lots of information down below this video in the description box. All you need to do is click on the words that say show more, and that box will open up and show you all the information that I have for you. There will be some links to products and also the dimensions of our project today. And if you are going to place an order in the next couple days, please use this host code at checkout. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.